Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome back to another Ancient Empires faction overview. Today we are looking at Macedon, or Macedon, depending on how you want to say it, but I like to say Macedon, even though I say Macedon, even though I say Seleucid. I'm a little confused, but it's okay. Whatever works. Anyways, so we are doing Macedon today. I'm excited to showcase them because they have a lot of pike infantry, and someone made a comment on one of my other videos that I might have a pike fetish. Well, that's not completely true. I don't get excited like that, but I do enjoy looking at pikemen. That sounds even worse. That just like validates what that dude said. I'm going to stop. Anyways, so we're going to get right down into it. These guys have a decent amount of troops. It's a pretty fleshed out roster, and I'm excited to showcase them. So let's jump right into it. We have two sets of generals. We have a Gema. These are going to be our very heavy pike infantry. Charge value of 4, melee offense of 8, defense of 9, armor value at 9, and a morale at 15. While those aren't very super great stats, the morale alone means that they're going to hold the line for a very long time, and they will actually... yeah, they will be able to hold that line for a very long time. I love using a Gema because for that very reason, you're able to tie up a lot of units, the enemy's units, so that you can do other things and you know that those guys aren't going to rout. And then next up we have Royal Squadron. These guys are actually pretty good for heavy melee cap. They have a charge value of 8, melee offense of 9, which is pretty typical for melee, defense of 12, armor at 10, and morale at 15. Again, these guys aren't going to rout very easily, which they shouldn't considering their general's units. Moving down into spear infantry, we have mercenary Thoriophori. These guys are pretty typical ranged stats for some spear infantry. So low ammunition of 3, ranged offense of 10, which is good. Missile range is on par at 70, charge value of 4, melee offense of 9, melee defense of 15 is actually pretty high, armor value at 5, and morale at 10. These guys are actually going to do pretty well holding that line, as long as they're not getting shot by any kind of arrow piercing or armor piercing ammo. And their morale means they will hold the line pretty well. Next we have some picked Achaeans. These guys are spear infantry again. Charge value is a little higher. Melee offense I think is the same. Yes, they do suffer some melee defense. Their armor value is higher though, and they have a morale of 11. Now again, these are area of recruitment soldiers, so you'll only be able to get them in certain spots. Next up, we have mercenary Thoriophori. We've seen these guys before in other factions. Charge value of 3, melee offense of 8, melee defense of 13, armor value at 10, and a morale at 10. These guys are going to be pretty good. Alright, moving down to pike infantry. We have 5 sets of pike infantry. We have Macedonian bronze shields. Honestly, these guys aren't going to be all that great. They have almost no charge value. Melee offense of 5, defense of 8, armor at 8, and morale at 9. Unless you just can't afford any of these other units, I would really kind of stay away from the bronze shields, or if you're just looking for some meat soakers, they would be a good unit for that. Next up, we have a Megalopolitan picked bronze shields. They have a slightly higher charge value. Their offense is a little better. Defense, armor, and morale are pretty much going to be almost exactly the same. Next up, though, we have some Macedonian white shields. These guys are going to be pretty cool. I like how they look on the battlefield. I'm not sure if I will use them, though, or not, to be honest. They have a charge value of 2, melee offense of 7, defense of 10, armor at 8, and morale at 10. Their defense is probably where they're going to best be suited for these pikes. Of course, they're pike infantry. That's all they're really good for. And so, again, if you can afford these heavier units, go with the heavier units. So we have Macedonian Peltas. These guys are going to be pike infantry, and they are going to be just a little bit better. They have a much higher morale rating. They have a better melee offense and a charge value that's also higher. They are capped out at 5 per, though. So, and then last but not least, we have our Agema Cab, which is the same stats as the Agema General. So they're going to be pretty good, even though you can only use 3 of them. And they also look very sweet on the battlefield. We have some allied agrarian Peltas for our first set of melee infantry. This is an area of recruitment unit. Ammunition is a little bit higher at 4. The ranged offense is a little less than their spear counterparts. They have a missile range of 70, charge value of 4, melee offense of 6 isn't that great, melee defense of 13 is pretty high, armor value at 5, and morale at 8. They're going to be okay units unless you just don't have anything else. They are relatively cheap at 245 though. And then next up we have mercenary Thoriophori. These guys are going to be okay. Actually, they're actually... I don't know, to be honest. It just depends how you're going to use them. Their melee offense is pretty daggum decent. Melee defense is pretty high. Armor value at 11 and morale at 10. They are going to be pretty good units, but there's just some better ones that I feel because a morale at 10 is good for sure, but you have some of these that are much higher, and it just seems to be better. We have some Royal Peltas, who are considered light, Tier 3 melee infantry. Charge value of 4, melee offense of 8, melee defense of 10, armor value at 8, and morale at 13. Again, that high morale is a big, huge factor in ancient empires. I have to emphasize that because it's just completely true. You really want high morale units because that will prevent you from losing battles, especially with the new update and how morale works. Next up, we have Thracian military settlers. These guys are essentially Falksmen, and they're going to have some pretty good stats. They have a charge value of 11, so you're definitely not going to want the guys to just stay there while they let troops come to them. You're going to want to engage other troops with these guys because of their high charge value. Melee offense of 12 is pretty high. Melee defense of 8 is not that great, but they do only have sort of like side arm shields, so that makes sense. Armor value at 9 and morale at 11 means they're pretty decent. And last but not least, we have Agema that are considered light, very heavy melee infantry. They have a charge value of 4. I'm not sure why they're really very heavy melee infantry. Their stats aren't all that great, to be completely honest. Melee offense of 6, melee defense of 7, armor value at 9. They do have a very high morale, and maybe that's why. But overall, I would still rather pick like some Thracian military settlers, or I would almost even go Royal Peltas over Agema. So again, not sure why they're called very heavy melee infantry, but that's not my place. Bow infantry, we have some citizen archers. Citizen archers, I want you to see this. Ammunition is decent at 23. Ranged offense is at 8. That is massive. That is a hard punching unit for being a light bow tier 1 citizen archer. So they're going to be very useful in battle as long as you can protect them, because if they're unprotected, they only have a melee offense of 3, defense of 3, armor at 5, and morale at 5, so they will rout rather quickly. Next up, we have mercenary Cretan archers. Again, these guys aren't going to be as good per se in terms of ranged offense, but they do have a higher missile range. They do have a much higher melee offense, extremely high melee defense for light bow infantry, but we've seen these guys before, so you guys know that. Armor at 5 and morale at 8 means they will hold that line. And then the only difference between mercenary Cretan and allied Cretan is essentially just a couple of things. Slightly lower offense, slightly lower defense, higher armor, and the same morale. So really, area of recruitment too, I might add. Alright, down in the slingers, we have citizen slingers. They have the max amount of ammo. Ranged offensive 2, which is pretty typical of light slingers. Missile range of 240. Offensive 3. Melee defense of 9. I'm always surprised because these slingers seem to be very good at melee defense. Armor value of 5 and a morale of 5, so they're not going to last too terribly long. But then you have mercenary Rhodian slingers, and these guys are pretty buffed comparatively. They have a ranged offense of 5. Their missile range is maxed out at 300. Charge value is much higher. Offense is higher. Melee defense is the same. Their armor value is the same, but they do have slightly higher morale. They do ignore terrain and things of that nature. Down to the skirmishers, we have citizen javelin men. Slightly higher ammunition than what's typical of light skirmishers. The ranged offense is pretty good. Missile range isn't that great, but it's pretty typical of light skirmishers. Melee offense is poor at 3. Defense is okay at 8. Armor value at 5 and morale at 5. You want to protect these guys because they will rout pretty easily. Next up, mercenary Cretan Uzonoi. Ammunition, again, is a little above par at 4. Ranged offense is high at 10. Missile range is typical at 70. Melee offense and defense are actually decently high for a skirmisher unit. Armor value at 5 and morale at 8 means they will be pretty solid troops. But you go on over here to mercenary Illyrian, and actually, to think about it, there's really not a good reason to go mercenary Illyrian, but I probably will anyways because they do look a lot cooler. That sounds bad, but it's alright. They do have a lower ranged offense. They do have a higher charge value, less melee offense, less melee defense, a higher armor value, and a lower morale. So again, I don't know. I kind of just want to use these guys because they do look really good. I've seen them in battle, so we'll keep it with them. Melee Cav, Macedonian Citizen Cavalry. Charge value of 7, offense and defense of 6 and 9, armor value of 8, and morale of 8 are going to be pretty decent tier 2 melee Cav. Area of recruitment Megalopolitan picked Cav are actually going to be a little better, though. I would say that just because melee offense is a little better. They do have higher morale and higher armor. So definitely I would probably pick them over their counterparts. And then last but not least, we have Sacred Squadron, which are again part of, I guess that's Royal Squadron. Whoops. My bad. Charge value at 8, melee offense at 7, defense at 9, armor at 10, and morale at 13. These guys are going to be pretty solid heavy melee cav, and they're going to do pretty well in battle. Last but not least, we have Peony and Cav. These are area of recruitment. Ammunition at 6, ranged offense of 9, missile range of 80, which isn't too bad. Their melee offense and defense is poor, but they do have a rather high charge value. So once you're done throwing throwing your ranged offense, you'll be able to charge into those and do some decent damage, although probably not a whole lot. Probably more of that impact in terms of affecting morale rather than actually killing units. Armor value is at 8 and morale is at 7, which is pretty par. And then we, of course, have Mercenary Tarantine Cavalry. Now, we've seen these guys before, and they do some damage. Sorry, it's early in the morning, and sometimes I'm a little immature. Ammunition is pretty high at 6, actually. Ranged offense is high at 10. Missile range is the same. Charge value is 6, so it's less than their counterparts, but they are going to feel that they're going to do a little more damage. Melee offense of 6, melee defense of 10, armor value at 5, and morale at 10. Alright guys, well, you know the drill. I'm done with the overview. These guys are going to be a pretty solid faction to use. I'm excited to see them on the battlefield, and that's where we're going to go next. So I will see you there. Alright everybody, welcome to the battlefield. I thought I would change it up and do a coastal land battle, just to give it some difference. Plus we're kind of in, I don't know. We are playing the Gortina, so we are in a sense playing the island of Crete, which could be Crete-ish, I guess you could say. I don't know. We're going to roll with it. But, so yeah, here's our... That's not our army. Here is our army. Looking quite puny compared to this one, to be honest. We are outnumbered by a good solid 1,300 troops. There's a good possibility that we might lose this battle, but we might not. You never know. They do have some superior infantry, but we might win the day. Just depends on how well I do. So let's go ahead and break down our army, and then we will keep rolling. Up on front, I have 3 units of Agema pikemen. Now again, I do not have a fetish with these guys. I can't say anything that just sounds right. I like Agema. I just like pikemen in general. They just look really cool. Just the spear wall, the pike walls that they have. It's just really, really solid units, and they just look really neat. Okay, so over here on our left flank, we've got Royal Peltas from the Light Period. What I really enjoy about Macedon is their color scheme, their uniforms, their armor, the detail in their shields. I've always been impressed with the detail of this mod, and just the color scheme is really works for the Macedonians. It just looks really good, and is really simple. I mean, the detail isn't overly ornate. It is in the spots that it needs to be. Obviously, I would prefer to have more detail in the shields than I would in the armor, so it all just makes sense and it all looks very good. Now, over here on my right flank, we have some Thracian military settlers. As I said, these guys are going to be Falksmen. They're going to do some massive damage, hopefully, and we're going to charge them into battle because that's what they are meant for. Alright, on the front line, in front of our Agema, we have some mercenary Illyrian Uzonoi. These guys are just going to be your skirmishers, so we have a few of those. They are actually spread out as far as they can go to hopefully maximize who they can hit and what they hit. Behind them, we have 3 units of citizen archers. Again, these guys have a very high ranged offense, so they are going to definitely cause some havoc on the battlefield, and hopefully that will help limit the morale of these guys, which means they would rout faster. Now, I do have 2 sets of Sacred Squadron, and again, the Sacred Squadron, their color scheme looks really good. I love seeing just a variation. I hate seeing a whole stack of units. I don't hate it, but I don't like seeing a whole stack of units that all look exactly the same. So seeing these brown, these dark red, the blues, the purples, the yellows, it just all really mashes well together, and it makes for a pretty gorgeous looking cinematic in terms of just how they look on the battlefield when they're charging and moving and in battle. I have another set of those cav over here, the Sacred Squadron. I have a unit of Tarantine missile mercenary cav over here. So these guys are going to wreck on the battlefield. I hope I can use them effectively, because I tend to not be very good using skirmisher cap, but that's why they're in this battle, so I can learn how to use them better. And then last but not least, we have our Royal Squadron. These guys are going to be a good generals unit, and I actually forgot to change them to war cry, so they are on rally instead, but we might need that rather than have a war cry. Alright guys, well, let's go ahead and start the battle. First thing I'm going to do, we are going to move up. Let's go there. I think we'll make it there in time. Let's see if they've got anything. One thing I did notice that I forgot, all of the Cretans all have missile weapons, which makes it slightly hard for me to be able to do anything against them, because I'm always afraid of their missile troops, because every single one of them are missile troops. Let's go range there. We'll pull melee over there. Here we go. See, look, they were hiding. That's rude. Looks like we got more troops to reveal over here. Let's see just what is over here. And let's see if anything, because I'm sure there's some shrubs there. Scrub, excuse me. Let's see if there's anything else over there, because I know that a lot of these troops can hide. So I just want to see to the extent that these troops are coming in. Already they're shooting at me. Already I've lost some troops. There they are, out of there. Nope, ain't doing that. Not doing that. Let's go ahead and go hide. It was an ambush. It was a very well played ambush. Let's see. I think I could take on all of their cav. So we're going to do a little risque move here. Let's get my cav out of the range of those skirmishers. Aha! I knew there was another one in there. And then before we do anything else real major, let's make sure we're out of their range. We could actually shift this whole line over, get them out of the archer range, and then move up a little bit. I think that would probably actually work decently well. So let's give that a try. Again, I'm going to try and pull their cav away. Because I can pull their cav away, I think I can make it. And they're going to come after me. This is a little surprising, so let's go ahead and do this. Do that number. What are these guys? These guys have only lost a couple still. Again, we're going to pull them back there. They are a little more active in terms of their fatigue level. Cretan archers. They have a ranged offense of 5, so we should be able to wreck those guys just a little more. But we don't have the range that those Cretan archers have. Oh, get out of there. Get out of there, because you will get wrecked by those spears. They're just not attacking me. I don't know why they're not, like, coming after me. I don't get it. But you can see how effective that these archers are being. Making sure no one else comes after me. It looks like they're breaking off some of their Tarentine cav. Here we go. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Routed those dudes. So let's focus on these guys. 1v1s we should win against these Doric picked cav, I would think. Get out of there, get out of there, get out of there. That was a nice trap. Nice lead, nice lead. I'm not even upset. They do have a... Wow, they are routing me. This is not good. Let's just put these archers here then. Why are these guys not routing? I figured they would. There we go. There's one troop. Let's go after these dudes. There we go. Yeah, bring your general in. Sure. Oh, wow. They're bringing in all of their... I may sacrifice my cav to kill their general. That's not worth it. You know what? While they are distracted, I'm moving up. Moving my infantry up. Yeah, they are wrecking me. My cav are gone. This doesn't happen very often. We are going to move them up. Engines and thrusters engaged. Yeah, they wrecked me. That was a very well laid trap. I was very cocky. Got very, very cocky. Let's focus on those mercenary Galatians, because if they rout, that will help us immensely. Go against those mercenary Galatians. Of course, you have 2 units that are meant to charge, meant to be offensive, so it's kind of interesting to see how well they will play out. But these guys are meant to be defensive. They will hold that line through and through all day, all night. Let's get these guys around. Let's get you guys around. Yeah, we lost that hardcore. We might just lose this battle. We just might. Let's go ahead and get my general into the mix as well, because he's going to need to get in there. Let's actually get right here. You guys throw at those gents. Come on. There we go. See, we're routing those guys. Somehow those guys slipped through. We're going to go around here. They're pursuing those guys, so go ahead. Pursue them to death. I don't care. Oh, wow. Wow, we're doing bad. They're breaking through. Throw at those guys, please. Again, we should have been protecting them much better. These guys will rout very quickly. Here we go. Kill those Tarantine Cav. We are losing on so many fronts right now. This is awful. This is probably one of the worst battles I've ever done, to be honest. But it looks like they're going to rush their cav in to meet me, which is fine. I wouldn't have done that personally, but that tends to be how these guys roll. These guys are way out of the battle, so we have hopefully a very good advantage here, and that we can try and take over the battlefield in terms of melee engagement, because if we can get those melee infantry dead, these guys are just getting wrecked. You can't stand up against my pikemen, which look like Spartans, by the way. I like that. Let's see, so we got General v General here. We got our skirmishers. We got our Falksmen, which should be doing more damage. I think they are. Take a look at some one-on-one. That was a nice block. Dude, you didn't even stab him. You weren't even there. Here we go. Let's see what that graphics overlay thing does. There we go. Look at that one-on-one. Oh, kill him. That was a nice block. Alright, let's see how we're doing. Those guys were routing, but I don't think they are anymore. You guys get right here. Actually, get right here. That'll work. I need you guys to scoot back. There you go. Get out of that engagement. Get behind here. We're going to start trying to hammer an anvil. I don't know why these guys are just sitting around. Don't understand it. Did my general just rout? No, he didn't. Okay. Get my general out of there. Let's get after these mercenary Galatians. Awesome. Those guys have routed. We're going to focus here. We're going to focus here. These guys are good. And let's hit those guys in the back. Please charge. They even doing anything? No. Scoot back. Reform those lines. We got to make sure we can protect these guys, so I'm going to draw these guys back here. But we are going to shields down, pikes down. Now let's charge. Give them a nice proper charge. You guys are going to charge these guys in the back with your glorious pikes, just moving in nice and slow. Please, like, actually engage in battle, please. I need you to drop your pikes down. Actually, charge these Galatians from behind would probably work better. There we go. We've routed those guys. Let's do the same thing over here. Move my skirmishers over here so that way we don't get hit in the back. And if we do, it'll be a little more balanced. Hit those mercenary Galatians in the back. Now charge, fools. There we go. Look at that. You can't handle that. It just can't be handled. Get these guys back here. Those guys are getting hit in the back. As soon as we can set up our infantry, or our cav. Again, these guys aren't doing anything. I kind of wonder if there's kind of a glitch at the moment, because they should definitely be coming back and routing, or and flanking our troops. But they don't seem interested in that one single bit. Move on them. We have an advantage. Sweet, they've routed. Move those guys into here. We're going to completely surround that troop. We've completely erased them. Let's set up here. Yeah, there's definitely a bug going on, which makes this battle not quite as fun. But I'm going to keep working on it anyways. Because I'm not going to lose this battle. Sweet, they've all routed, which means these guys are probably going to rout pretty soon. Make sure that they actually rout. Go after them, pursue them. And then we're going to regroup. Get my general there. I just need to make sure all those guys stay there. We're going to draw our new line. We're going to shoot their general to death. It's unfortunate that there seems to be kind of a bug. I don't know what's going on at all. Again, it makes the battle less interesting. Kind of demoralized now because they're just not doing anything. So I can at least do something, dude. I mean, for crying out loud, maybe if I go and attack their general, they'll do something. Give a morale buff to myself. Morale of 21. Oh crap, is that a morale of, that's a morale of 40. Okay, get back. Get out of there. Get out of there. Wow. That was weird. I don't know why they have such a high morale. I mean, they're a general unit, and I get that, but at the same time. Actually, you know what? Don't even engage pikemen unless they engage you. Because we're just going to shoot them down. As I said, we're going to rest up a little bit. There we go. If they want to rout, then they'll rout. Hopefully I can even kill their general. Let's move on to here. You guys are going to move up. Flank. And then a flank. General, move up. Slightly disappointed. Because again, all I'm just going to do is just pepper them to death. I'm actually even going to use flaming shots so their morale gets lower faster so we can get this battle done. Like I said, maybe they'll finally engage. It looks like they are kind of engaging. There we go, guys. It's a little too late in the battle now, but whatever. Those guys are fresh. Hopefully these guys can hold the line. Take on a few of them. They're again not doing anything anywhere else, so archers, come on, man. You gotta have that better range going. These guys are tired. Move up, move up, move up. Flank. There you go. Rout, suckers. These guys do have very poor range, though. Move on them. Cav, get to them. Surround those guys. Oh god, you have skirmisher settings on. Just did that to kind of give them some time to move. We've routed those guys like I thought we would. It's just a route fest is basically what we're trying to do. I don't want to end the battle because you just never know how things will go, but I'm pretty positive how things will go. Mercenary Thracatai, they just can't handle all the troops. Give these guys a morale buff. Move along, little doggies. One of these guys per. He's routing. There we go. Peltas, move in. Go into there. Once they get hit from behind, at least we'll maybe get some cool shots. Again, I don't really know why they just kind of just sat there. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but these guys will probably rout pretty soon. The morale is already low. I would imagine a nice little charge is about all we need to make these guys rout completely. There we go. Rout, rout, rout. All day long. All day, every day. There we go. Let's move on to these guys. Move them up. Move them up. Oh, let's go over here. Come on. Move, lad. We just need to make them rout. That's the issue. They're not routing yet. They need to rout now. Don't rout, General. You guys go over here. Shoot-ah! Shoot-ah! Here we go. Then I'll bring these guys around. Fa? Yeah, you're not going to have any ammo soon. Setting fire to some bushes. A few trees out there. Those guys are tired. We're going to super fast forward time it. Route, please, quicker. Come on. Everybody fight. There we go. Eventually we'll just chase all these guys to the end of the map, where they will then have to turn and fight, and then we will win the battle. So I do apologize, guys, for just the whatever happened there, because I have no idea. I have no idea why they didn't engage. It really kind of ruined the whole battle, but it still, I guess, showed off enough to where we could be all right with calling it a good battle. Let's go ahead and just flank this dude from the side. Charge! There we go. End of the battle. Right? There's no one left on the field. There's someone hiding. We're not going to do that. I don't want to concede defeat because it's not a defeat. There are still some units hiding somewhere. See, it's things like this. It's like, really? Really? There's got to be someone hiding over here. I don't want to consider it a defeat, even though everyone else knows. Just don't like seeing that defeat button. Is there anyone over here? No, there's not. Is there anyone over here? Oh well. We're going to have to hit that defeat button because I'm not doing this the whole battle. So guys, there we go. Close defeat, even though it wasn't a close defeat at all. we still had many troops left. Alright guys, well that will be the end of the Macedonian faction overview. Again, I sincerely apologize for the battle. I don't know what went wrong with that. I don't know if it was kind of an AI bug or what, but regardless, I do hope you enjoyed the faction overview in general. Macedon is a pretty heavy-duty faction, and they can really hold their own. So if you like this, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Be on the lookout for the next Ancient Empires battle. Oh, faction overview, I should say. This is Havoc, and I'm out of here. Peace!